What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Ghostbusters Afterlife video. There will be spoilers, so please do be warned as there are some cool moments I don't want you to have ruined if you intend on seeing the movie. If you haven't seen it, it is a superb reboot slash sequel, a sequel-boot I would call it, and really does live up to the legacy of the original movie. Ghostbusters has had a tough time lately with the 2016 reboot igniting one almighty culture war that has raged and moved on to things like Star Wars. The movie itself was absolutely atrocious, ignoring the legacy of the original and not understanding why the original is so beloved. But I will admit, Kate McKinnon was my favourite part of that absolute trash fire of a flick. Here they do the modern thing, like I said, and they do have a sequel slash reboot. It is the new vogue, which they are doing with the Halloween franchise. They've done it, of course, with Star Wars, where they go on to Force Awakens. It's pretty much the same movie as A New Hope, but they change it just a little bit, but it works better here. Now, of course, it is a direct sequel to the first one, but I will get into a bit as why I think Ghostbusters 2 is, or at least did exist in this new canon. Now, the Ghostbusters seemingly went under shortly after the first movie, but the second could still be canon, as Dan Aykroyd's character mentioned that they carried on a bit after the 1984 movie, and the character did have an occult bookshop in this movie, which was in the second one, which I actually really like. I only found out recently, kind of like a couple of years ago, that the second one wasn't as loved as the first one. I thought it was really cool. It's a story of legacy here, which is touching, as Jason Reitman is behind it, the son of the director of the original, and he fully understood the assignment here. This is straight up fan service, which has been a nostalgia trip and has been seen as a negative by other people who have reviewed it. But hey, I wanted Ghostbusters, I got Ghostbusters. What do you expect? They tried doing new things with 2016 and it failed. So we've gone back to what we know and love. The story follows Egon Spengler on his attempts to stop Gozer from being summoned once again after the demon was stopped in the original. And the video game, I'm not sure is canon here, which would have been cool if it was mentioned. However, while Flat Top herself appeared to be defeated, the genderless demon was at risk of coming back, and in the intervening years, Egon investigated Gozer and Shandor, the man who created the latest version of the cult of Gozer, the people who wanted to bring this demon back to Earth, along with the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper. Now, Spengler tracked Shandor's buildings and his life to Somerville. Shandor built the building from the first movie using selenium, and this seemingly came from the mine in Somerville. The movie sprinkles everything from the first movie in here. It's really well done. Gozer comes back, or is at risk of coming back, in certain intervals, with the last one being 1984. The video game was 1991, so again, I don't think it is, but hey ho, here we go. Now, the latest time that he's going to come back and is seemingly like the final one, this countdown, is 2021, but he planned to make a mega trap at his dirt farm that he built, but was sadly killed. However, it's a smart way to include Harold Ramis in one of the best uses of dead actors being used in holograms, especially at the end. I think it really did work. At the start, it was like, is that supposed to be him? Is that not? And they kind of were smart with the shot choices that they did. Now, Spengler's daughter moved to the town with her son and daughter, the daughter Phoebe seemingly having inherited all of Spengler's personality and acumen in the science space. We stan a STEM queen, as she is the main character, and it's a superb passing of the torch to a new franchise. I love how we don't get stuck in the tween and teenage dramas, as the movie straddles a Force Awakens style reboot and a Stranger Things style mystery, which is funny enough because One of the characters from Stranger Things is in this, but doesn't have a huge major part that I was expecting, but he really, really does well as the B-plot of the romance, which did not get boring. Phoebe meets Gary, the summer school teacher who is an amateur seismologist, with the town having major earthquakes when it shouldn't. It turns out that this is caused by a pit in Shandor's mine, which acts as a temple that was kept in check by proton pack style traps. And after discovering these proton packs and ecto-1s, which was so very, very cool, the kids come together to head there after being trapped, of course, in jail and having to call Ray Stantz. Now, Gary and the mother are taken over as the keymaster and the gatekeeper, as the mother calls back to the first movie by saying there is no mum, only Zool, a reference to Sigourney Weaver's Dana saying there is no Dana, only Zool, which is something my household say. The pair united to summon Gozer, but the young Ghostbusters save the mother and aim to lead Gozer to the house, which is a gigantic trap. However, the team can't quite do it, but luckily while they were in jail earlier, Phoebe called Ray at his occult bookstore, which was in the second movie. The OGs turn up in a fantastic fan service moment, with Bill Murray's character riffing on Gozer, as of course he did take over her, or his girlfriend in quotation marks there, and they even cross the streams, which you shouldn't do, but they did. But it's not enough until the kids hit the power trap things with a beam supercharging it and Gozer being trapped. There were some touching moments at the end which did almost bring a tear to my cold heart. The movie ends with Winston talking about his pride and joy and taking the Ecto-1 back to New York, as it ends with the original graphics, but we get a few post-credit scenes. We see Sigourney Weaver pop up using the electroshock machine that Venkman used. The first movie, he had that in, and he finally admits he only shocked the guys on purpose, and it hints that the pair stayed together and had a happy ending. We then get a deleted scene from the original, with Egon receiving a lucky coin from Janine, and it's her remembering him while speaking to Winston. It turns out he became mega rich, and he has rebought the firehouse, which the guys fell behind on, and it hints that he wants to continue on the legacy. Now that is really, really cool. There were some really cool Easter eggs, with the Twinkie being in the Ecto-1, which Spengler used to explain the Vault overload in the first one, and he also had the sciencey helmet that he had, which Podcast wore as well. Overall, a superb movie. I had an absolute blast watching this. Possibly my film of the year, but I'd be interested to hear from you if you haven't seen Ghostbusters. Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the fan service? Did you enjoy 2016's Ghostbusters? I'd love to hear what you think of it, because I'm open to all ideas and opinions, because at the end of the day, this is just one person's opinion. But if you enjoy the video, please drop a like down below, do subscribe with notifications on, and I will see you soon, and goodbye.